Hey guys, it's Sekaar, and today we're going to be going over my Bomb Blade build that I have for update 30. I really like this build so far. I know that it's probably not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I feel like one of my set decisions is kind of controversial, but I promise I'll explain it, and I really think it's a very solid, nice option. So let us get started. But actually, one thing real quick, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Clicking that one button really helps support me so much. I would really appreciate it. But guys, let's get on with the build. We're going to look at our character sheet first. We're going to be a Khajiit on our Nightblade. Khajiit is going to help our overall critical damage, and I really feel like that's going to help our overall damage as a whole. You want your critical damage to be as high as possible, so in my opinion, Khajiit is just the way to go. We're going to have 64 points into magic. That way we can have our max magic pool be 34.3k, our max health pool be 23,000, and our max stam pool is going to be 15.3k. And then also, if we look at it, we're going to be using the Shadow as our Mundus to increase our critical damage and healing as much as possible. And then also, we're going to be using Ghastly Eyeball as our food. That's going to increase our max magic by 4,200 and increase our magic recovery by 420. Also, Vampire Stage 4. Stage 4 is really cool because you get to sprint and you become invisible when you're sprinting. So it's really helpful for your overall bombing and really helpful for your overall just kind of magic sustain, because if you could just run everywhere being invisible without needing to use your cloak, it really helps your magic sustain a lot. Moving on to our gear, our one monster set is going to be Balorg. So we're using a medium Balorg helmet in Divines with a max magic enchantment on it. And we're also going to be using a medium Balorg shoulder with a prismatic enchantment on it. I already had a medium divine shoulder. I just wasn't going to take a prismatic enchantment off of it because those things are way too expensive. So no. But Balorg, that's going to give you a bunch of extra damage every time you ultimate. It's going to give you weapon and spell damage equal to 23 times, or equal to the amount of total ultimate consumed. So if you use 200 ultimate, you're going to gain 200 weapon and spell damage. Also, same thing with physical and spell penetration. You're going to get that, but times 23. So if you use 200 ultimate, you're going to do that times 23, and that's how much extra penetration you get as well. So it's overall, when you're bombing, it's awesome. That's crazy extra damage. Moving on, Rattle Cage is going to be my sleeper set on this. And guys, I'm going to explain so much of this, and I hope that it makes sense to you guys. I think it really does. But here, guys, this is my thought process behind this. So the 2-piece is max magic. The 3/4 piece is weapon and spell damage. The 5-piece, you get another little bit of extra weapon and spell damage. And on top of that, you get major brutality and sorcery at all times. So it's going to increase your weapon and spell damage by 20%. So that makes it so that you don't expose yourself, and so that you're not really getting any spell damage buffs beforehand, whether you're using degeneration or anything else. So really, this keeps your bomb and damage up as much as possible until you're right about to go up to that bomb. And I really like that, and I've been really digging this as my set because overall it has been hitting so unbelievably hard, and I really like it. I feel like it's a really solid move. So let me know what you guys think, if this is a good setup or not. I kind of like using Rattle Cage. If you guys don't think so, that's fine too. Everybody has their own opinions, and personally, I just think Rattle Cage is really dope. We're also going to be using Gloves of Vicious Death. We're going to be using Light Divines with a max magic enchantment on it. Vicious Death, this is going to be your bomb basically. So it's going to give you weapon spell damage, max magic, crit chance, and then offensive penetration. And also when you kill a player, they're going to explode for 21,000 flame damage. And basically that causes a chain reaction. That's what makes the bomb go bomb. So to me, this kind of feels like an old school tether build, and I really like it. So again, Vicious Death is going to be our front bar set. Also, we're going to be using a Light Sash of Vicious Death, Divines with a max magic enchantment on it, and a Light Shoes of Vicious Death with a max magic enchantment on it, Divines as well. Also, we're going to be using a Heavy Reinforced Rattle Cage Greaves. I already had both the legs and the chest in Reinforced Heavy, and honestly, I just didn't want to switch it up. I really felt like I was hitting hard enough as it is, and it was nice to get a little bit of resistances on this build, so it felt nice. Moving on, we're going to be using our Rattle Cage Jewelry. All 3 pieces are going to be infused with a weapon and spell damage enchantment on it. Also moving on, we're going to be using Axes of Vicious Death. We're going to be using our main hand in Nirnhoned, our offhand as Sharpen, both with Oblivion damage enchantments on it. Axes are going to help your overall critical damage. And I really felt we were close to hitting the cap on critical damage. So honestly, I just thought that this was the way to go. And then back bar, I'm using Resto Staff of Vicious Death and the Decisive trait. That way, when we're using this, we're just getting as much ultimate back as possible. Using defending is not going to really help us with our overall resistances. So overall, I just thought Decisive was the best way to go. And then moving on to our skills. We're also going to have a concealed weapon on our front bar. We're not going to be using this much, but overall this is also going to give you a minor expedition while having this on the front bar, so it's going to increase your movement speed by 15%. So it's a good ability to have. We're not really using it too much on this build when we're bombing. Really, it's just for that minor expedition. Shadowy Disguise is going to be your cloak on this build, so it's going to I can't even speak right now. This is going to be what keeps you invisible, so up until you bomb, so it's great. It's awesome, amazing skill. On top of that, you also get to get Major Savagery and Prophecy on both bars, so it's going to increase your weapon and spell critical by 2600. Also, we're going to be using Power Extraction as our main spammable once we bomb. This is going to be a great source of extra damage. You're going to get a little bit of a buff from this too, because you're going to get, you already have Major Brutality and Sorcery on this build because of Rattle Cage, but you're also going to get Minor Courage, so it's going to increase your weapon and spell damage by 215 as well. So that's awesome. It's really cool for your overall AoE pressure, and I just really like this morph a lot. We're also going to be using Inner Light on our front bar as well. This is going to be basically increasing your max magic by 2%. I didn't know what else to slot here, so I just be using Inner Light, and I liked it. And then I have Merciless Resolve. This is going to be a great source of extra damage if you need to just really finish one kill off. If you hit somebody with this Merciless Resolve, you're just going to absolutely shred their health bar with how much damage you have. But overall, really not going to be your go-to spammable on this build. And then we have Soul Tether. This is going to be your ultimate that you try and line up with your proxy debt. If you use this at the right time, it's going to buff the rest of your damage, and this is a nice amount of AoE pressure that you've got here. Also, we're going to be using Meditate. This is going to give you a lot of resources back, and I really haven't even morphed this yet, but I just like the skill a lot. Overall, it's great to just get your resources back when you're out of combat, and you just need to get resources back before you go into bomb again. And then Channeled Acceleration. This is going to be your source of Major Expedition and also Minor Force, so it's going to increase your movement speed by 30% and your critical damage by 10%. Also, Proxy Dead. This is going to be what combos with your Tether, and this is going to be what does a lot of damage. So each enemy within the bomb's radius is going to increase the damage done by 100%. So basically, the more targets you've got, the more damage it does. So basically, try and bomb as many people possible. It is awesome. It helps your overall damage so much. And so if you time that properly with Soul Tether, and then you're going to want to hit Soul Tether first, and then your proxy will go off, because if you time it right, and then Power Extraction, boom, so much damage. And then our only heal on this build is going to be Healthy Offering, but that tooltip on that is crazy. 17,000, great amount of healing. And then Shadow Image. I didn't know what else to put here, but honestly, this helps your kind of your escape route a lot. If you plant this before you bomb, there's a really good chance that you could go in, bomb, then hit this Shadow Image and get out. So it is great. And then Temporal Guard. This is going to be, I don't know, you're not really going to use this ever, but it's going to give you minor protection, so it's going to reduce your damage taken by 5%. And then moving on to our champion points, our blue slottables are going to be Biting Aura, Master at Arms, Untamed Aggression, and Fighting Finesse. Our red slottables are going to be Slippery, Rejuvenation, Celerity, and Survival Instincts. In our green tree, the things that we really care about are Breakfall, Rationer, Liquid Efficiency, but also it's cool to have Out of Sight. I really feel like that's kind of cool too. And then also Fleet Phantom. Make sure you have that as well, but I'm pretty sure that the Vampire passive ignores that, so you don't really need that. Guys, that is the entire build. Also, actually, one last thing I need to show. I'm going to my console UI. Sorry about that. I'm going to my controller UI. I use Ghastly Eyeball. I said that. And then my potions of choice are Essence of Immovability. It is going to give you max health back. And then also on top of that, it's going to give you magic back as well. So having that really helps your overall bombs. That way you're not CC'd before you go into a bomb. And it's honestly, it's the best way to go in my opinion. That way you're just not interrupted and you can just get your bomb off and get out. I love it. All right, guys, and that is the entire build. I really hope that you guys enjoy. If you like my take on a bomber, let me know in the comments below. All comments are helpful. They help me in the algorithm, so I would really appreciate any and all comments. It would mean the absolute world to me. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later. Worth it. And Mage Light cannot be more.